so I'm gonna demo how to add some fun animation into your app. Yay. Okay. So if you open is this one the before file? No, it's not. This is the after. So let's do this one. Okay, here we go. Okay. Why won't it let me? Like, am I crazy? Why won't it let me make it bigger?
You can click on the green button and just make it take up the whole screen if that's not too much.
Okay, there we go. All right, so first, I was thinking about adding a little bit of animation just to, here, I guess I'll run it first and show what it does. Just to, like, the general guess, like, my guess beads or guess circles, and, like, when you change the color in your guess, adding that animation. And so I had to do a little research. Also, I need to make the launch screen bigger still. Don't mind the fact that it's tiny. But because a lot of the like stuff I had seen already was like animation only happened with like a toggle button and stuff like that. So now, like, you can see it just works like normal. Nothing happens. It's just a normal game. It doesn't let you enter if it's not a complete guess. Okay. Yeah, so there's basically like two main animation things. There's like with animation and then dot animation. And dot animation works honestly really similar to like this, like these like dot fill and dot stroke and stuff like that. So the first like really simple thing that I added that really I kind of already knew from my little animation demo I'd done before is you can add a little dot animation, and there's some built-in functions. Like there's like spring, there's an ease in and out. There's really not a lot of built-in things just for this like general animation, but I like the dot ease in out. And then you have to give it, so for this dot animation, you have to give it a value that changes. Like when this value changes, that's when you want the animation to happen. So for this one, my color ID is, oh, I spelled ease wrong, is like when the color of the bead changes is when we want the animation to happen. Oh, look at this fun little error. Does anyone have a guess about what this error means?
Do the other view.
Wow, yeah. Thanks, Nick. We need to add this dot animation into this one too. There we go. All right, well,
That is such a weird rule.
Yeah. Let's see what happens now. Hopefully you can see it. Ta-da! Now it kind of gives a little fade when you click on the, yeah. Okay, so that's the first like basic little thing I did. So then I was thinking like, okay, the animation that I really want to do is if you press the enter button before like the guess is valid, I want the circles to shake. So I went to Google AI and make sure I searched the right thing. Because based off of some previous research I'd already done, there's not, like, the way there's a built-in, like, ease in and out, there's not a built-in, like, shake function. So I looked up how to make circles have a shake effect in SwiftUI. All right, and I found that you have to use this geometry effect, and it's this fun little structure, shake effect, which, get out my stuff so I know what I'm doing. I'm going to copy and paste. because so this is like, and I want it, so my user guesses view is where I create, obviously, like these are the little circles, and then those are the rows and all that stuff. So at the bottom of this function, I'm gonna command v this new shake effect structure, and don't really know how exactly this works. I think it just creates, like, it's just like some math, like it's using sine and pi and some math down here to make the circles look like they're shaking. Yeah, and so now the hard part, the part that I really struggled with, was like when to make this effect happen, or how to get this effect to happen. So first, first what needs to happen is I need to have this like shake trigger variable inside my, I think it talks about it here. It calls it shakes, but in order to basically animation, like you have to change something in order for it to happen. And for this type of animation, you kind of like, it's all the examples I found were incrementing an like integer, or the CG float value is what caused the animation to happen. So we want to have this shake trigger value on every row so that each row shakes individually. So this, my user guess structure, is my, like, the structure, the model version of my guesses, and all we're gonna add is a variable shake trigger. It's gonna be an integer. We're gonna set it to 0. Okay, so now we have this shake trigger, and we want to change this shake trigger if, when the enter key is pressed, the row we're currently on is not full. So we already have, in my colored circles, I already have this enter key that calls an enter key function in the view model. So let's go to that enter key function. Right now, all it does is call a function in the model that determines if we're going to go to the next row or not. So we're going to add a little if statement, and we're going to say, it's right here in front of my face. If our model.enter key, which is the model version of our enter key, dot is active, and that's the variable that tells whether, like, because this will light up if the enter key is ready, like that. If it is false, then we want to make our model.array of user guess, which is my array of that user guess structure that we just added a variable to. If it's at current row, if it's shake trigger variable. Sorry, these, I feel like get like long and complicated. We're going to increment it, because basically that means that they tapped the enter key, but it was not active. So we're going to increment that shake trigger variable, which is going to trigger the animation to happen. So now we have it triggering on each row. Like, there's a variable on each row to trigger that specific row. And so then inside our structure where we combine all of the rows, we're going to add a local trigger variable, which, so this part, like, originally I had like just one local trigger variable that I was triggering every time one of the animation happened, but that was making all of the rows shake. So that's when I figured out I had to make a row, like an individual row or individual shake trigger. And then we're also going to have a main one that's going to pair up with our this animatable data in shake effect. it's what's gonna cause it to shake. So we're gonna make it a CG float and set it equal to 0. And now there's this cool, so kind of along with the with animation and dot animation, there's also a few different things that you can use. I know a few of you guys have used some of them already, like dot on change. Like if you want to do animation when a certain variable is changed, you can do dot on change of blank and then a with animation inside of it. So we're going to use a dot modifier, and we're going to use this shake effect structure that we created, and it's animatable data, so when it changes, it's going to be our it's going to be that local shake variable that we just created. Alright, so now we also are going to add a dot on change, and so we want this shake effect to happen when one of our shake trigger variables from the row is incremented. So when our long thing again, so this is all from the model. I already have it like returning the things that it needs to return, because this is like the model's user guesses that we changed earlier. At the row, when its shake trigger value is changed, then we want to with animation, and this is like another thing that I found. It had this dot linear for a duration of 0.4. I think changing these variables would just kind of change like how it looks, like how the shake looks, I guess. Oops. Thanks. Okay, and so now inside of this is when we're going to increment that local shake. So to the best of my understanding, when we tap on the enter key, if it's not full, we increment that shake, and then incrementing that shake makes this dot on change call, and it increments the local shake, which causes this dot modifier to take action, and that's what calls this shake effect structure, which causes the actual shake, if that makes sense. So let's see what happens. So we're entering, oh, did anybody see that? But it's reversed. So that is in my view model when I called this, and this is a fun little quirk of my game, is that the things are backwards. So I have to do my max guesses -1 minus the current row. Let's try it again. Ta-da! And you can hit it as many times as you want. When it's regular, it won't, and then if you are missing one, it'll shake. Ta-da! Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions?
Did it take you a long time?
Yes. It actually wasn't like too terribly long, and really the final, like, there was a point where I had it working and it was a lot more complicated than this, and then I realized that I could actually, like, I didn't really need a lot of it. Like I had like a valid guess Boolean variable for a while and I called like a separate function to check the animation for if the guess was valid, but then I realized that I already had my enter key .is active that was already checking if a guess was going to be valid or not. So I really didn't need that Boolean. And then the hardest part was getting it to be like individual to each row, which once I realized that I could just add that shake trigger into my user guess, it wasn't that bad. So yeah.